Um, Hello, welcome into the channel. Welcome into the stream. Coming in on today live with breaking news. Breaking news. This coming in not but a few hours ago. Updating the baby Emmanuel Haro case.
Yeah. The man has made it home.
Can you get out of my live stream?
They both barbecue and they both honey.
Sorry about the
Welcome in,
interruption.
guys. Welcome in.
This
you
is
for watching.
this is
Thank
my
you for
husband.
watching.
He's the other person that moderates and administrates the channel, but mostly gonna be seeing me. He just popped in today. But again, welcome into the channel. I'm coming in with breaking news today in the baby Emmanuel Haro case. Parents have been arrested. You heard that right. Parents have been arrested in the baby Emmanuel case. We coming in with the breaking details now.
We are following breaking news out of Los Angeles, where police just announced the parents of a missing 7-month-old baby boy are now under arrest. Multiple law enforcement agencies blocking off roads and surrounding a home, looking through areas of the backyard. Now, 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro has been missing since August 14th. Police say his parents recently stopped cooperating with this investigation. Investigators say his mother claims she was attacked as she was changing his diaper in a store parking lot and heard someone yelling from behind her before falling to the ground. She says she lost consciousness. When she woke up, her baby was gone. Now, again, Emmanuel Haro's parents are now under arrest in connection with their missing 7-month-old son. There's no word yet on whether police have located baby Emmanuel.
So yes, as we suspected all along, the story just never added up. It was just never consistent. Nothing was ever found to corroborate the story. And as of today, the parents have been arrested. This update came out, I want to say, a few hours ago. Police and everybody is still at their home conducting investigation and searches. And then there's some other information that I wanted to share aside from her being where both parents being arrested. Um, and I spoke on this during my first live stream when I first reported on his case, first reported him being missing and brought awareness to it. I spoke up about there being another baby that was injured, left severely injured. So we just get into that. Let's play that. And we get ready to come with this news article here on this baby injuries. She suffered some, like I said, some very traumatic injuries. And at the time, and this is his sister. Um, you know why it's moving so slow?
It is day 6 of a desperate search for a 7-month-old baby boy named Emmanuel Haro. And the details that we've just learned about the baby's father and his criminal past, absolutely hair-raising. The number of children that have been moved out of the Haro home into the custody of others is nothing short of alarming. Let me take you back for a moment. Baby Emmanuel was reported missing last Thursday. His mother, Rebecca Haro, claimed that a stranger approached her from behind, said, "Hola," and then knocked her unconscious. She says when she woke up, baby Emmanuel was gone, right there in the parking lot, gone. But according to investigators, Rebecca's story didn't add up all the way. Rebecca refused a lie detector test, and both she and her husband have stopped cooperating with the police, the authorities say. To be clear, there have been no charges filed against Jake
So this is before the charges were filed that this report was done. Cause this report was done, if I can see, do it tell me when it was originally? No, it just said it was updated today. The state there was an update. But let's go back to it.
Or Rebecca Haro. And Jake's attorney insisted right here
Hmm. Come on, why am I having so many issues today?
on this show last night that his client, Jake Haro, is cooperating, despite that statement from the police suggesting otherwise. Tonight it is Jake's past, however, that is becoming a lot more worrisome. Yesterday, we learned about his felony child cruelty conviction, the one that put him in jail for 6 months back in 2023. Both Jake and his ex-wife, Vanessa Avila, pleaded guilty to the charges, and tonight we have learned that crime was committed against his own 10-week-old baby girl, a child who survived but suffered horrendous lifelong injuries. We've got photos of the child, and I should tell you that the family has given us permission to show those photos, likely as a warning about Jake Haro. But I do want to tell you this. When we show you those photos, they are quite disturbing, so fair warning in advance. Here is the little girl in her hospital bed, 10 weeks old. She is recovering here from several fractures to her ribs, to her skull, and to her legs. She is also recovering from a brain hemorrhage. This little girl was eventually removed from the Haro home, and she was adopted by one of Vanessa's cousins. That cousin has cared for this little girl and even renamed her. Her new name is Promise Faith. According to the cousin, Promise is now 7 years old. But take a look at this picture. The damage that she suffered from those injuries was permanent. Promise was left blind. Promise was left unable to walk. Promise was left unable to talk and unable to swallow due to strangulation. We are told from this cousin that Promise has 3% brain function, that Promise needs a feeding tube, and that Promise will need round-the-clock care for the rest of her life. So let's just contemplate this as you see these pictures. Jake Haro, who beat this child, received 6 months in jail and probation
Woo!
afterwards. The same cousin who adopted this little girl, Promise, also took in Jake's oldest son, who she says
I'm sorry it keep freezing up on us like that.
was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. That child was named after his father, Jake, but the cousin also renamed the little boy. His new name is Carlos. And now this same cousin who has taken in 2 of Jake Haro's children, one that Jake Haro beat into a lifelong condition, another that was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Now this cousin is caring for a 3rd child removed from the Haro home just this week. A 2-year-old child was taken out of Jake and Rebecca's care. I'm joined now by true crime digital creator Abby Escobar, who spoke directly with this cousin who has been caring for these children. Abby uncovered these incredible details. First,
Yeah, this is absolutely like I'm stunned. They didn't still there was still some sort of open CPS case or something again where they had to be monitored with children because the little girl was 10 weeks old when he beat her nearly to death, changed her life forever. This baby hadn't even been in the world but 2 months, 2.5 months, and he almost killed her. Let me exit and see if it. Because for some reason we having issues with let me see. So this baby was, y'all, when I say 10 weeks old, and he nearly killed her, brain hemorrhage, broken, fractured ribs, skull fractures, like leg fractures. Like every part of this baby he can hurt, he hurt from head to toe. Basically, he hurt this baby, almost killed her. She's 7 years old now, confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her life. I'm still here. Bear with me. Having tech issues. Okay, I'm back. Again, just to back up, this baby was 10 weeks old. He literally beat this baby within an inch of her life at 10 weeks old. This baby wasn't even in the world 3, 4 months before he almost killed her and took her back out of the world. Again, fractured ribs, fractured skull, brain bleed, leg was fractured. I mean, this baby had fractures throughout her body. Imagine this baby, how tiny she was, and to have all those injuries to her body at that age. Has been changed for the rest of her life. She's blind. This baby can't eat on her own. She can't talk. She's gonna require a feeding tube for the rest of her life because he choked her, strangled her, hand around her throat to the point where she can't even, her swallow reflex is she can't swallow because she was strangled so bad. Like, it's wild to me that someone would then get into a relationship with this man and have kids with this man after he already did that to that 10-week-old baby. Not only that, their son that was born after the little girl was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. Now, the woman that he's married to now was not the mother of those two kids. The mother of those kids was also charged with what happened to the 10-month-old baby girl, to 10-week-old Promise. Her name is now Promise Fate. Promise, she's gonna live the rest of her life, the rest of her days confined to a wheelchair again, blind, can't talk, can't eat, has to have a feeding tube to eat because she can't swallow because he choked her so hard to it messed up her swallowing and everything like that on her throat, messed up her throat. The son, Jake, well, his name is no longer Jake, he's now Carlos. He's been adopted and renamed. So I'm gonna call him by his name now. Carlos was born with fetal alcohol syndrome. We all know babies born with that suffer all types of problems when they're born with that fetal alcohol syndrome. So this baby's living the rest of his life with problems and issues as well. Now they just took the 2-year-old baby from him and his current wife, and the same cousin that got those other two kids now has this 2-year-old as well. So she's raising two babies, one severely special needs, severely injured, who's going to be need round the clock care the rest of her life. We don't know the extent of the situation with Carlos, who had the fetal alcohol syndrome, but I'm sure he's had some issues from that because fetal alcohol syndrome don't just go away. Children that suffer from fetal alcohol syndrome, they suffer for their lives as well. So she's basically a special needs mom of two. Then she just took in a 2-year-old toddler from Jake and his current wife. It's like, I don't understand what in you makes you decide you want to hurt your children, not once but twice. Like, I'm and when I was coming with the breaking news that both parents were arrested. Let's see. And he actually pled guilty to willful child cruelty after his baby was admitted to the hospital with all them broken bones in 2018. And I don't know if it was her. This man served 6 months in jail and then got out on probation. 6 months for nearly killing this baby. I'm trying to understand why it wasn't no attempted murder charge. The baby had brain bleeds and all that. They didn't even think she was gonna make it. To me, that should have been clearly should have been an attempted murder charge. Let me see. So yeah, his current wife, Rebecca, him and her both were arrested today. And it's been just a little over a week since they reported that the baby had disappeared. Um, they were arrested. That's what I was coming with today. The breaking news that both parents have been like we thought from the beginning. Everybody thought that that story she was telling was suspicious. It didn't add up, and sure enough, after investigating and everything like that, they've both been arrested. We don't know what charges they were arrested on. Nothing, hadn't come out as far as what they're being charged with or anything like that. But as soon as any affidavits or any charges or any statement is released from the police, I'll be back to bring that as well. But right now, I was coming to bring that the parents were arrested in the case of missing baby Emmanuel Haro. They were arrested as of today. We have no further information. We haven't been given any charges or anything like that. But they definitely both were arrested as of today. There's still searches going on now that they're home and on the property and things of that nature. But as soon as I find out more information, I will be back to bring the information as far as charges and all of that. And I also, like I said, I had learned a few more details regarding the charges he had before from the little girl that he beat nearly to death, and that whole situation was sad too. Like I don't understand what possessed you to put your hands on that baby so bad like that. What could a 10-week old done that made you that mad? To me, nothing at all. For you to almost take her life like that, I would never understand it. Like I would never understand it. Let's see. But like I said, as soon as I get more information, get any more details as far as what they were charged with, because we know they were arrested, but as soon as I find out what they were charged with, anything like that, I'll bring that back for sure. Because right now I don't have that information, but I for sure will be back with it when I get it. And somebody had asked me the other day, any updates, any arrests, and at that time, no, there had not been any arrests. But as of today, both Jake and Rebecca Haro have been arrested for these babies being missing. And actually I think let me see. Let me see. So I think let me see, what did it say? Okay, so they were booked on suspicion of murder. Okay, I just found out what they were charged with. I had to go back and pull up something. So yes, they were arrested today and charged and booked. They were booked on suspicion of murder. And so when somebody gets arrested, they can hold them for up to 72 hours without putting a charge for completely putting a charge on them. But according to this, they were actually booked on suspicion of murder. Now it may change at some point to them being booked and charged with actual murder, but right now it's just suspicion of murder. We'll find out more coming up. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'm sure they may give us a press conference at some point today. If I see that, I go live and stream the press conference as well, so we can get as much information as possible. But that's what I came with today, quick, short, just to come in and let everybody know there's been an update. The parents have been arrested on suspicion of murder, booked in on suspicion of murder. Um, it's come out that the story that the mom gave, that somebody just hit her and she woke up and the baby was missing, it was never believed from the beginning. When the police questioned it, they stopped talking. They no longer want to speak. They didn't want to take lie detector test. They no, we got us a lawyer. You speak to our lawyer. That type of stuff like that. Most parents that I see when their children come up missing and they dealing with the police and stuff, when the police say come for a lie detector test, sit down with us for a more in-depth, and they cooperate and go along. They ain't had nothing to do with their child being missed. When you're guilty, or you start dodging stuff. You start dodging lie detector tests, and you start dodging. You don't want to do any more interviews, stuff like that. And that's what happened in this case. But like I said, I come back if I get any update. Like I said, I found out it's the charge that they were booked on was suspicion of murder. I'm sure we probably gonna get some update charges somewhere along the way. Everybody's been hoping for the best, praying for the best. but bracing themselves for the worst in this case. And it looks like it's slowly turning for the worst. It's not any update that we wanted. We wanted this baby to be found, but as of right now, he has not been. He's still missing, and the parents have now been arrested on suspicion of murder. And they don't just book somebody on a suspicion of murder charge if they don't have something that's telling them that there's been something happening. It's point like so. These detectives they got something. Something that came out. Something they because remind y'all they'd have been to these people's house. They're doing a more extensive search of the house today in the property, but they were there before and they removed his car. If we remember, a few days ago, the car was taken from them, um, seized as evidence and seized and to be searched for evidence. So I don't know if it was something found in their vehicle or something, and also their phones were seized as well. And so between the car being seized and the phones being seized, today they've been charged. They've been booked and charged with suspicion of murder. More information is going to come out, I believe. We may get a press conference, who knows when we'll get it, or an update from the police, but I believe it's going to come out. We're going to get more details along the way. This is not the end of it. We prayed for the best for this baby to come home. We were hoping for the best, but preparing ourselves for the worst. And it looks like it's now done took a turn for the worst. Hopefully, they're telling where the baby body is so he can be laid to rest. At this point, it's all I can hope for. At this point, is they're able to tell us what his baby remains are, so he can be laid to rest properly. But that's what I was coming here for. I'm not gonna be too long. I was just coming in to bring that. Parents have been arrested, booked on suspicion of murder. His body has not been found. He has not been located, but something had to be found. Something is known by a detective for them to book them on suspicion of murder. And we'll find out coming up sooner or later. We'll find out what it was they got. They're not gonna release every single detail, every single piece of evidence they got. They don't tell us everything. They'll give us a press conference to let us know, okay, yes, they were charged. We do have evidence that shows such and such and such, but they're not going to tell us what their evidence is. So that's what we waiting on next. Is a press conference to tell us, what led to this arrest. As soon as I see that, I'll bring that. I'll stream that live too. Thank you for joining in. This has been another episode of True Crime Chronicles. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and watched my live. And I'll be back later on. If I come across any more updates or anything like that, I'll be back about this. But I will be back later on tonight bringing updates on other cases. Again, thank you for tuning in. It's been another episode of True Crime Chronicles, Pursue the Truth, where we pursuing the truth.